Hi everyone, this is Priya Racer Patnaik. Welcome to my channel MacTech. In the last video, we had discussed about career after mechanical engineering. In that video, we had discussed all the sectors, and in that, we have discussed the major sector is that automobile sector. What we are going to discuss in this video. Along with that, we'll discuss about some casting process and casting parts. Let's move into the topic. Let's discuss about automobile sector. Broadly, we have divided all the components what are used in automobile into four categories. One is the plastic components. Here we have considered the dashboard, bumpers, since these are the major and large component. Apart from this, there is a lot of small and tiny components also used for the automobile parts. Next, coming to the seat metal. The complete body of the vehicle usually made of the seat metal. Here we can mention body, side panel, hood, door, trunk lid. All the parts are made up of the seat metal. Apart from this, the complete body structure also made up of the seat metal. That is the body in white. That is BIW. So next, coming to casting. Majorly all the engine components like piston, you can say the crankcase, all these things are made up of the casting components. Usually the material used for the casting components are the aluminum based. Here you can see also some mounting brackets and other components also which are made of the metal. For taking the advantage of the lightweight, we are using the aluminum metal. Next, coming to the others, in others we have considered fabrics, leather, glass, rubber, and some electronics components as well. Usually, it gives the comfort to the passenger, and it is used for the automation purpose also, like all the semiconductors you can say, and electronics components. These are used for the giving more comfort for this passenger.
So now just we'll cover in this video the casting. So in the next video we'll go for the plastic component and others. So here just a brief introduction of all the casting process, and in detail videos definitely we'll cover in the next sessions. So coming to one by one, this is high pressure die casting. So there are two types of high pressure die casting. One is hot chamber, other one is the cold chamber. So basically in a hot chamber, the major difference between hot and cold chamber is that the crucible or the furnace where the molten metal situated, that is a part of the machine in hot chamber die casting. In case of cold chamber die casting, it will be the separate crucible or furnace from which the metal will be poured into the your short or your short cavity. So basically the high pressure die casting, the both are the common concept, that is you will put some pressure to the metal so that it will flow into the cavity. Usually we use a permanent mold that is made up of the steel, and it's different kind of steel might happen, and it depends on the number of components we are going to get from that cavity. This is the cold chamber. In cold chamber die casting, we can see the molten metal through a ladle. It will pour into the shot, and there will be plunger which will give force to the molten metal so that it can go inside to the cavity. Just two difference in cold and hot chamber again. Usually we are using low melting temperature material or metal for the hot chamber die casting, and we are using in a higher melting temperature metal for the cold chamber. In this case, for hot chamber we are using usually we are using zinc and magnesium, and for the cold chamber it's usually for the aluminum, and some magnesium alloys also you can use, since the melting temperature of magnesium it will come around 650 degrees Celsius, whereas the aluminum it is coming on the 660 degrees Celsius. And the die you can use the same similar type of die, you can use it for both hot and cold chamber die casting. So next, coming to low pressure die casting. The die is filled with metal from a pressurized furnace. That means here the bottom side you can see there is a furnace or crucible. Here the molten metal will be poured, or it will be stored here with a particular temperature depending upon the metal. For example, if you will go for the aluminum, it will be around 750 degrees Celsius to 700 degrees Celsius. So the process is similar way. There will be a stock tube, it will connect from here. In the top side there will be a mold, and through the stock tube the metal will insert into the cavity. Usually it happens when we'll give some pressure to the furnace or to the holding furnace, where this holding furnace is enclosed. This is the pressure proof. That means there will be no leakage of the air. So in that case, whenever we will put some external pressure through air, the molten metal will flow into the cavity through the stock tube. Usually the pressure it will come around 0.7 to 0.8, or more than that if you will go for 1.5 kgf per centimeter square. So the advantage of this one is you can precisely control the cavity filling. That means the stage wise how will the cavity will fill, that can be controlled in the right way, so that it will reduce the oxide formation and prevent some porosities also, so that also it can be controlled in the low pressure die casting. Usually the components you can say in the case of the low pressure die casting, it will be the alloy wheel, where it will be symmetrical, and from the bottom side the metal will be inserted and it will flow uniformly throughout the component. Also in this case we can use some cores, that means sand cores you can use for making some intrinsic part or some complex hollow parts. And since it is a low pressure die casting, the metal will flow slowly and gradually, so it will not damage your core. That means the sand core, which is very brittle and it is very sophisticated, so it will not damage if the metal will move slowly and gradually. So this type of component also can made through low pressure die casting. So next, coming to gravity die casting. As the name implement, the metal will flow or metal will forward into the cavity through the gravitational force. There will no external force will be added here. It is the earliest process. So usually in ancient time, so the metal usually put into the cavity directly. There is no system of creating some pressure, unlike high pressure and low pressure die casting. Basically it is suitable for the high volume and automated production. That means the process automatically pour the metal, that means the ladle, it will be controlled by some robot, and it will pour the metal into the cavity. Here the investment will be small, and for the medium volume production, since there is a lot of manual intervention would be there while getting the component or making the all the other readiness of the component after the casting, as well as the pouring also, it will be very slowly you need to do, and it will be gradually you have to put to avoid the turbulence of the molten metal. So that's why the cycle time it will slightly higher as compared to the high pressure die casting and low pressure die casting. So the volume will be the medium type, in the sense you can you will cannot expect a high volume production from this, but yes, it will be economical since there is less actuations are there, and you can get a excellent mechanical properties since there will be metal will be gradually, and the directional solidification it will move in a right way, so you will get a better mechanical properties, and the strength will be also better. Here also similar to low pressure die casting, you can use some sand cores so that you can make some hollow parts with very complicated shape. You can see here the applications are for the turbo, for the brake calipers, the knuckles, engine blocks, pistons, all these parts we can make from this gravity die casting. So next coming to sand casting. Usually it involves the use of sand mold. That means here there will be sand mold on which or into which we will pour some molten metal and you will make a part. There is a 6 stages you have mentioned here. That is, one is the wooden pattern. This is the light material, and also it can be made of some steel also. So there will be wooden pattern here we have considered. This wooden pattern is placed in a core. So after that we will pour some sand into it, like this. The sand is there. That means this is usually a green sand, that and you can put some, it is consist of green sand, clay and some binders, so that it will be fixed here. After that just we have reversed the pattern here. Now we will remove this wooden pattern or the light metal pattern. Now we will create some carved gate so that metal will insert, metal will flow through this gate. Fourth is we will make some riser pin through which metal will be poured, and the function of riser is to compensate the shrinkage of the component. Whenever the metal will solidify, it will shrink to compensate that the riser has been given. In fifth, just we have put a core here, this core to make a hollow part, and this is the final cavity and the complete mold made of the sand. Here we will pour the molten metal. The molten will flow like this. It will come here, and again it will be through this riser, it will come up to this level. That means whenever this metal will solidify, then from here the molten metal will flow and it will feed to compensate the shrinkage. That means when it will shrink, the volume will decrease here. This the extra metal will compensate the shrinkage. After that, just we have to break the mold to get the aluminum component or any metal component which molten metal we have poured into the cavity. This sands we cannot use these sands again and again, but yes, the pattern can be used repeatedly. Okay, we'll go to next, investment casting. Yeah, this is another pattern for the sand casting. Similar way we have explained. One half of the pattern, this flask placed over the first pattern here. This is called the flask, and we will fill the sand. The other half it will be same, and finally both the half, top and bottom, just will assemble, and then we will pour the molten metal to take the shape of this one. Here we will make a provision or the sprue through which the molten metal will flow through the cavity. After solidify, we will get the component like this, and we will get it after breaking the sand, that we will get the final component here. So next, coming to investment casting. This is also called as lost works casting process. That means here we can see the process, we can see here itself. This is made up of wax, complete it is made up of wax. This is called the wax pattern, where this is the runner, this is the sprue, and these are the components. Here you can see the 6 components are there. This wax pattern will dip into a ceramic slurry, where this slurry will solidify and it will cover completely to the wax pattern. That means this on the component, the wax component, the slurry will completely cover. Then we'll heat this slurry and wax pattern jointly, so that wax will melt and it will come out. After that, it will create a hollow section, and this hollow ceramic cells, that means this is the outer cell, inside this there is a hollow. Earlier there was wax, when we heat it and we remove the wax, then it will become a hollow. In that hollow pattern we'll put the molten metal. Finally this hollow area will be filled by metal. Once it will solidify, then we will break this ceramic cell, and finally we will get the component. In case of investment casting, this is usually very precise, and the surface finish also it is very good, you can say. You will get a very high finish part. Some parts you need not to do machining after this type of casting. So it is a, you can say it is a precise casting. And in this case you can produce some intricate parts also. Intricate part in the sense, the part where there is small cross sections also it can be made, and with no draft angle. That means whenever we will break this slurry, there is no meaning of that the draft angle and the ejection pattern. So that also we can get it here. Next, coming to slosh casting. In this type of casting, just it's a simple way how we will get a casting component. Usually we use for the decorative items, for ornaments, where the structural rigidity is not the prime concern. Since here you can see this is molten metal, and this is a cavity where we pour the molten metal into cavity, and just we will shake it. That means we will just rotate this part so that the molten metal will be filled. Here the complete molten metal is filled up to this one. Once it will fill, then we'll reverse it, will evacuate the molten metal, but due to this solidification pattern, the directional solidification, this wall, this part will be solidified, but definitely the inner thickness or inner part will not be uniform, since based on the wall thickness the cooling effect is different, so the solidification pattern will be also different. So the wall thickness of the part, it's not uniform, since as we discussed just before, it is not giving a structural rigidity, or it's only for the decorative item, so that is not a major concern of the structure. Finally, when you will split the cavity or both the part, then you will get a component like this. So this outer surface you will get a right way, but the inner surface it may vary. So next, coming to centrifugal die casting. In centrifugal die casting, here you can see a cylindrical part just we have made. That means here is the driver roller, here is the driven roller, this is the mold part. We'll pour some material, molten metal here. Meanwhile, this will be rotating. Usually the rotating speed for a horizontal centrifugal die casting is the 50 to 75 times of the gravitational force, so that the molten metal will stick, or it will forced to the wall, and it will create a pattern, or it will create a uniform wall thickness, and finally it will be solidified. In this case, the impurities will come inward, since the density of this metal will more, so it will strike, or it will lined to the mold wall, whereas the lighter material it will come to the inner surface. So the structural rigidity you will get a better way at the outer side, and inner side you will get a weaker section, or weaker metal properties. There are basically three types of centrifugal die casting is there. One is true centrifugal, other one is semi-centrifugal, and third one is centrifuging. So we will discuss in the next session in detail, but as a shortcut I can say centrifugal die casting is usually made through a centrifugal force. The metal will flow, or the metal will stick to the mold wall through centrifugal force. Next, coming to vacuum die casting. So as we know that the major defect of any casting is that of porosity, and where the porosity comes, it comes from the entrapment of the air bubbles inside the component, and mostly the hydrogen gas is plays a vital role whenever any molten metal becomes solidified. Here we are putting some arrangement to evacuate or to suck the gas which is inside the cavity prior to filling of the metal, so that the air entrapment chances will reduce drastically. Here the molten metal will pour through this pouring basin. Whenever this plunger will come to this area, that means it will cover the pouring basin, then the vacuum pump will start, and it will evacuate all the gases here. Usually it is just below to the atmosphere pressure to suck the air. After that, this plunger will move and it will fill the component similar to the cold chamber die casting. Then finally we will get a good component, sound component, without the porosities or without the gas entrapment. Next, coming to squeezing die casting. As the name implement here, this is a process of squeezing. In this case, the molten metal will pour to a cavity and the punch will come from the top. Here the molten metal stage will be the semi-liquid stage, since already we have poured that one. After that, the punch will come and it will press to give a shape. Here it is a rectangular shape component. In the bottom side you can say it's a component with a semi-spherical. So here the punch is here, the molten metal it is there, and once the punch will come, the molten metal will fill the other area, and finally whenever it will solidify, it will give a shape like punch as well as the cavity at the bottom side. So here the mechanical properties of this component will be better, since the microstructure it will compact whenever the metal will be in a semi-solid stage and you are putting some pressure. So the microstructure will be refined and it will be very small, and it will give a better result whenever you are going for any mechanical testing. Next, coming to lost form die casting. This is a similar pattern of investment casting, but here the only difference that during investment casting the wax was a pattern. Here it is a EPS, that means expanded polystyrene. The major difference is that the polystyrene it will evacuate in the form of gas whenever we will put the molten metal. Other processes are quite similar, that means we will put the pattern, then we will put some sand to cover and to make a support to the pattern, then directly we will pour the molten metal, and this polystyrene it will evacuate and it will, the gas will become this side. Finally the molten metal will occupy the pattern shape, and when it will solidify, then we will get the end product like this, similar to the initial pattern. Now coming to continual die casting. Here we will get a continuous product, that means the product will be not confined to a cavity, it will be made a continuous type like a pipe or any channel. So here you can see the molten metal put into this ladle, and from this the molten metal will come to the pot, and here this is the mold, this is the shape how we need, it is a circular or it is a rectangular, it depends on the size of the bar or the continuous product what we want to produce. Whenever it will come contact to the wall of the mold, it will start solidify, since as for directional solidification, the solidification will start from the mold wall and it will gradually solidify. But this is the inside component, the inside of this pattern will be semi-liquid stage, so we need some additional cooling to make it solidified. See, after this it is coming, and after that when the proper cooling it is getting, then it will become solidify. After that just we will put some rollers to give the shape exactly what we want. So here you can see up to this there will be a semi-liquid form is there, then gradually it will solidify, and in the roller it will give the exact shape, and it will be continuous process. If you want to cut it, then we have to use some parting operation after a certain length, and you will get a particular length of the bar or any type of cross section what exactly we need based on the mold. So this is called the continual die casting. For this session, these are the few die casting process, and as we informed earlier, we'll go in detail one by one. So in the next session we'll be seeing all this part. Definitely I need your comments, since to improve the videos or improve the concept how we are representing. And if you have any doubt, please comment into this video, and we'll clarify and we'll have a discussion on that. Thank you. If this video is useful for you and it gives some sense or it gives enhance some knowledge, so please share, like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you again. Thank you for watching.